Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvadam Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sadam Om Shri Mahasaraswatyai Namaha Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnaya Vasudevaya Haraye Paramatmane Pranatakleshanashaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Om Shri Krishna Paramatmane Namaha. Hari Om and Namaskar to everyone. How many of you are listening to me for the first time? Okay. Most of you have heard me before. It's very nice to see all of you. And what makes it nice is that there is love. Love that I have for you and love that you have for me. And the beauty of this love is that what I have for you and what you have for me is for no give and take. You are expecting no money from me, and I am expecting no money from you. I am not expecting anything material from you, and you are expecting nothing material from me. Is it true or not? This love becomes beautiful because it's for something which is not a gross, something which is very, very temporary, and therefore, year after year, I want to come back and you also want to come back. If I sit to ask you how many times you've attended my yajna, there are some people over here who will have to say 10 times. Is it true or not? Or probably every time that I have been here. It is only love that brings you again and again, and nothing but that. It is only love that brings me again and again. So all of us are in love. Okay. And we are leading a life in love. Love is something that every one of us, no exception, have experienced. Love is what, at the physical level, what you need is food. You can't live without food, can you? At the emotional level, the same importance that food has at the physical level, love has at the emotional level. You can't live without love. Without love, the more people who have committed suicide without love. Is it true or not? Supposing a person's heart is filled with love, would he want to die? Yes. It's not possible. Oh, that reminds me of this lovely story that it has had a lot of impact in my life. It so once happened, you can Google, nowadays anything is possible to Google. Years back I had read this, and I think maybe 20 years, 25 years back, maybe. There was a man, he used to live in a caravan. And he used to trade in horses. His father, due to some reason, and that was again because of some property or some legal, money matters, had sued the son. So there was a court case going on between father and son. And it was getting very nasty. Very, very nasty. Then, at the same time in his life, this man's life, his business partner, cheated him, and a few horses he took away. And horses are very, very costly. 1 or 2 horses here and there, and he's bankrupt. And at that same time, can you imagine the state of this man? His wife separated from him. So he said, I want to die. I have nothing more to look forward to. Every side of my life is a mess. I don't want to live this life anymore. He used to live in Switzerland. So he decided, one of his horses, he was trading in them, so they were there. He decided to take the horse on the top of the mountain somewhere and jump. So he took one horse and he went. It's quite high, it's difficult to climb. The horse was tired, so he had to give the horse some rest. And the Alps are very beautiful. It's very lovely. So as he was going, he had to give rest to the horse. So at a point place, he stopped. The horse got down from the horse, and it was a beautiful stream flowing there, so the horse could drink water, and green meadows, and up, of course, there were all the snow-capped mountains, etc., etc. So it's a very scenically beautiful place. And he sat down there because waiting for the horse to refresh itself. And now imagine the state of a mind who wants to only commit suicide. You can imagine. So he sat there and he said, anyway, I'm going to die. So, let me, in the relation that went bad in all the 3 cases, naturally, most of the time, whenever a relation goes bad, we always blame the other person. Isn't it true? So at that point of time, at that moment in his life, he realized that, because, when you're faced with death, whom do you want to lie to? So he decided, he says, okay, fine, the main fault was the wives or whoever's, but at least there must have been 1% my fault. He was willing to give himself 1%. So at least 1 or 2% my fault must have been in this whole relationship. So for that fault of mine, let me fill my heart with love and forgiveness. So he said, he says, okay, I'm sorry and I love you and stuff like that. He spoke. He spoke loudly. There's no one around anyways. Then he said that anyway, I'm going to die. So he went through all the lovely, he says, I'm not going to think about any unpleasant things now. Anyway, I'm going to die. Why should I do this? So, let me think of all the love that we shared in our life. Naturally, with the father, there would have been great moments of love, with the business partner, wonderful things, and with the wife, of course. So he sat and he recollected all the beautiful moments of love that they had shared in their life, and said, for all those wonderful moments of love that we have shared, thank you. When he did this entire exercise, his mind became so, what? Calm and peaceful and quiet. And no person who is calm and peaceful and quiet wants to commit suicide. Agreed? Not that you know of it. Hey, who wants to die in that sort of a beautiful mood? So then he said, he called the horse and said, let's go back. So they returned back. And he decided to start his life again. Whatever, And to his utter surprise, a month later, his father calls him. And the father says, son, I want to meet you. And he is shocked. His father used to hate him and abuse him and shout all sorts of things to him. And he's saying, I want to meet you, son. Sounded quite, this. He says, okay. Anyway, now he didn't have that much hate towards the father. So he says, okay, fine, I'll come. And then he went, and the father said, son, end of the day, we've shared some beautiful moments together. And I thought, why are we at each other's neck like that? Is it worth it? Why can't we try again? He is shocked that the father is talking this language. He says, one day, about a month back, and I sat and I thought, why am I doing this to you? But it took me a month to pick up the phone and call you. Then he said, what, month back? When was it? So-and-so day, so-and-so. Really, what time? And what does he find? Exactly at the same time that he was thinking of all those beautiful moments, filling his heart with love and forgiveness and gratitude. That's the time when the father had this change of heart. He patched up with the father. He went back home. And a few days later, his business partner came back and said, I'm sorry, let's start again. He says, I'm not starting again with you, but he says, okay, let's settle all this so that we don't part in a bitter way. He is shocked. He says, when did you think of this? Again, he went back to that same day and that same time when his mind was in this state. And then, you know what's going to happen. Hindi movie ending. Perfect ending. The wife comes back and says, let's try again. And again, the same time when this happened. He gave up his business and he started an academy of love. He called it the Academy of Love. He says, this is the power of love. And it has to be genuine, And believe me, try it out. I have tried this in my life. Because when this happened, and I read this particular story, at that point of time in my life, I'm talking about years back, there was someone whom I didn't like at all. And both of us shared same amount. Maybe that person didn't like me more. And I didn't like one person, and that person didn't like me either. So I said, let me try this. I've read it, now might as well. Try it out. And believe me, it worked. We are best of friends now. You want to try it out? Yes? Right now? No one is saying yes. Swamiji, pehla ne 1 mahino lagyo to. Believe me, it works. But it has to be genuine. And you really have to, And not expect, hey, I'll do this. No, not with that expectations. Remember, this man did not have any of those expectations. I will do this so the person. No. With no expectation. It's only an exercise to cleanse your mind of hatred and fill it with love. Okay? Not that I did this but that thing happened, or the expectation that something is going to happen. If you do it, by God, it will not happen. Okay? With no expectations at all. With a genuine intention of taking out that dislike. Filling your heart with love. Filling your heart with gratitude. Filling your heart with forgiveness. If you do it, it will work for you. Forget about the other person. Is it okay? From time to time, now I have realized, I'm doing it more and more in my talks, that if you actually do this exercise, it is so beneficial. You will feel good right now. You want to try? Okay, everyone close your eyes. Think of only one person who has evoked very bad feelings in your heart. Someone you really dislike. Someone who troubles you. Someone who's been nasty. Insulting. Giving you pain. Now think. In this relation, 100% honesty, you too are at fault. Maybe little. You too have hurt the other person. Undoubtedly. Don't worry about how much that person has hurt you. Just think of how much you have hurt the other person. Through your words, through your actions, through gestures, through expressions. Genuinely, the deepest and deep of thoughts, ask for forgiveness for what you have done. Don't say because, but. Don't say you did, so I did. No, I am sorry. I deeply regret what I did. I should not have done it, and I have hurt you. I'm truly sorry. In that relation, there have been moments of true love and joy. Recollect those moments. Not the moments of sorrow or strife, but the moments of true love and joy. From the bottom of your heart, thank the person. Thank you for giving me such wonderful moments of my life. Thank you for fulfilling me with your love. Feel the pain easing out of you and the love and joy replacing your heart. I am sorry and I am grateful. And I love you for all the good things you did for me. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Open your eyes. Okay. Now you put this part of your life this side now, okay? Now don't dwell on it and what happened there, and don't ask them, avakatya mein aa time mein hata su karyu tame. Don't do that, please. Don't spoil this, okay? Just leave it. Now it's not your business. To love is your business, and not to expect. This is the most important thing of love now. In life, we need to get love and we need to give love as well. You can't live without it, right? This is something which you can't live without. You need to get love from people and you need to give love in turn. Now, this is a very, very important principle to understand. When you give love, where is your hand? When you give anything in life, where is your hand? And when you get, where is your hand? And do you want the upper hand in life or the lower hand? Please tell me. Always we want to have the upper hand. So what should we do? Bolo. It's such a simple logic. If we just get this little bit fixed in our head, it would be so easy. Life would be so much. But what do we do? Unless you give, I won't give. Why should I give if you don't give? I don't give. What else? Understand? It's so simple when you're giving. Now, this is one thing. One is the upper hand. And the other important thing is, see, giving is in my hand. Right? I can give. I may give, I may not give. It's in my hand. But getting definitely is not in my hand. Is it true or not? It's in the other person's hand. When you want to give, you give. If you don't want to give, you don't give. And if you don't give, I never become the receiver. Right? So what is a sensible thing to do in life? Depend on what is in your hand or depend on what is not in your hand? Come on. Depend on what is in your hand, not depend on what is in someone else's hand. And what do? I am waiting for you to love me. And your mood is not there. Now what do I do? This is such a simple thing in life. Then, interestingly, see, the one who loves is one, okay? And the number of people you can love are what? Infinite. You can love an object, you can love a person, you can love the air and the wind and the sea and the earth. You can love anything and everything in the world. Is it true or not? The one who loves is one, but the place from where you can get love is what? So many. Now, in my life, if I say I want love from 1, 2 and 3, then what happens? Just tell me. I want love from what? What am I doing? I am closing myself love from infinite sources. Have you got the point? And then says, koi mane premat nathi kartu. No, why? Because I have said I want love from. I'm giving you very simple principles of love. I hope you appreciate these. Simple principle. We say, I loved her so much, but she did not love me. But what about the other person who loved you, whom you never loved? What about that? That may be there, but this. So I keep on waiting for love from that person. And I close myself in the process. What? Love from all the other sources which are waiting. There was a great saint called Swami Ramatirtha. Have you heard his name? He was from Punjab. Very great soul. So someone told him once, that XYZ is speaking bad about you. And they don't love you or whatever, something like that. He says, my dear, the Panchamahabhutas love me. You know what are Panchamahabhutas? Air, water, fire, earth and this. He says, they love me. And how close are they to me? Where is the air? Well, I'm engulfed with this love. So strong from all sides, in every way. He says, so much of love I have in my life, a few 3 or 4 souls don't love me, will it matter? Samjhe ki nahi? When I'm engulfed with so much of love in my life, and then to expect that every soul will love you, is it practical? But I'm engulfed with love. The air loves me. That's why it comes so easily inside me. How close it comes to you. Is it true or not? Pervading every cell of you. Don't you think that's love? Bolo. Every moment of your life, it's pervading you. It's within you. How close is it to you? It loves you. The wind and the space. Now imagine how accommodative is that space. I keep stretching my hand and the space doesn't give any resistance. Is it true or not? Every time it accommodates, someone who accommodates you all the time. Don't you think that's love? Bolo. To be accommodated 365 days. We are not very easy people to accommodate. You understand? And to accommodate us and all our eccentricities and all whatever we are, all the time, that's true love. Don't you define that? હું જે કંઈ પણ હોઉં તમે adjust થઈ રહેજો. And space is adjusting to everything that we do all the time. I keep expanding, space is no problem. No resistance. I tell you, this love is so... You agree? If you only could love like this, how beautiful it would be life. So therefore, never feel, but so-and-so is not loving me and so-and-so is not this and this. When it's only when we make this love into... and we become so miserable and so... It's so easy to live a life in love. Even if a person is talking bad of you, you can still love that person. You understand? It's not difficult. Try. It will work. I have found many times, whenever I find someone is negative about me, the way I look at it, I'll tell you. How do I manage to, sometimes I know the person is talking negative about me, but I still love the person. For the very simple reason, life is too short. And I'm not going to get enough opportunities to love. So therefore, I should not waste any opportunity to love, number one. Number two, I don't want to pollute my heart. You understand? I make a contract with the person who doesn't like me. I don't sit down and say, let's write a contract or anything like that. But once I actually did it and it worked. You want to hear what I did? Someone was really being nasty to me. Very, really. And it was hurting me. It's not that you're immune to hurt. And remember, never make yourself immune to hurt, because then you pain even more. You become jad, or what? You become you close. Anyway, we'll come to it later if it comes. So the person was hurting me. So I sat with that person and said, look, your actions are hurting me. Okay. So I don't want to spoil my heart with dislike or hate for you. It is a game for me. What is it? It's a game. And I always want to win. If you can create dislike in my heart, you win. And if I don't have dislike in my heart, I win. Now you do your worst and I will love you. I may not have great love, but at least I will not dislike you. And believe me, it works. It works, we are best of friends. Simple. You understand? So therefore, if I understand that I don't want to pollute my heart, whatever happens, I don't want any dirt in, I don't want dislike in my heart. This is too precious to me. I'm going to take care of this. So you can do what you want to do. I will not fill my heart with any negative feelings of dislike or hatred or anything like that. Then the other thing. In the world, everyone has so much of sorrow in so many different ways. Is it a fact or not? Please tell me. Right? The person comes from where they come, with all the baggage that they have, with all the pains and the aches and this that they have. They have enough problems in their life. Right or wrong? Now, why should I add one more problem in their life by disliking them? There are so many sources of hurt. When you have that sense of compassion in your heart for any person, even if they're talking bad to you, what happens? You can rise above that and start loving them. Is it okay? Yes? It's like that child who kicks the mother out of frustration. What does the mother feel for the child? Haven't you seen the child kicking the mother? It is hurting. Something has happened, so the child hits the mother also. But the mother knows, he's got hatred in his heart that moment. It's a momentary thing. But the mother says, Many, many times, these type of thoughts, like, bachcha samajh ke chhod diya. When we used to play games as children, and if one child is there and it's done then, so what do we say? Bachcha samajh ke chhod diya. If this attitude can come, in spite of everything, we can love. And the more the people we love, the greater is the love that we can draw from within our heart and share with others. Because all of us have an infinite capacity to love, an infinite storehouse of love from which we can draw. Unfortunately, right now what has happened, we think we have got a limited stock of love. And what happens, we invest it. And unfortunately, we don't have any spare stock. That's another big problem. So we've got this limited little bit of it. So we have said so many percentage here, so much percentage here, so much percentage here. Abe kain baki? Nothing. If I have to love anything new, I have to take it out from. Well, I have no ready cash in my hand, so what do I do? Each time? Well, what happens? All those people also feel miserable because you've taken it out from. I've described this before to this audience about the classic problem of the daughter-in-law, mother-in-law. You remember? नहीं? हाँ को तो हूँ नहीं पाछू कहूँ ना को तो पछी क्यों पड़ से कही दूँ पाछू પાછા પ્રોબ્લેમ થઈ ગયા ડોટર ઇન લો મધર. See, as I said, we have this very limited stock of love. And we invest. And most of the time, the mother gets a good share, a good chunk of the love. Everyone's life, when you grow up, mummy, 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 mummy. So mother gets a good, nice, proper chunk of the love. Then what happens? The boy grows up. And then he has to get married, arrange or love, whatever be it. So he brings now he's got some, let's say 40% with the mother, 20% with the father, and then so many other with the friends and this, that and the other, whatever. He's got his whole, everything is whatever he's got is all distributed. Now comes a wife. Now what do? What do? You have to take it from somewhere. So where will you take it? Where it's maximum? So what do? So you take out some 10, 15, 20% from the mother. And you take out some 5, 10% from the father. The father actually doesn't mind because this is exactly what he did when he got married. What else? Where will he get it from? Well, same thing he did. So fathers don't mind. Have you ever seen father-in-law, daughter-in-law problem? Not that much. They don't mind. કે ચાલો કાંઈ નહીં, છોકરો છે તો જ થાય. છોકરા એવા જ હોય. So what happens? 20% that has come out from the mother and gone to the... That mother says, આ લગ્ન થયા ને એના પહેલાં બહુ જુદો હતો. સાવ બદલાઈ ગયો છે. પહેલાં મમ્મી 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 કરતો, હવે નિશા 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 કરે છે. Whatever. You understand this? Now, this need not happen. Why? Because remember, at the end of the day, each of us has an infinite store of love. We don't have to take out from there and invest in this. This is not necessary at all. We think of the love of a great man. Each one, I know my Guru, Swami Chinmayananda. I know Guruji, Swami Tejomayananji. Each one feels that Guruji loves me the most. Each one thinks he cares so much for me. Each one thinks he gives me so much attention. Can you imagine? Here is one man, thousands of devotees all over the world, and everyone feels what? That I am special and I am loved the most. You understand? I always remember this statement, it's my favorite statement. God loves each one of us as though there is only one of us. What a lovely thing, isn't it? That's very, very special, as though I'm someone truly special. If we could all, and then what happens is, see, problem is not like that. We all feel that, someone loves us very specially. But what we do is we compare. That is the big problem. એની સામે 5 વાર જો, મારી સામે ખાલી 2 વાર જો. If you just say કે મારી સામે 2 વાર જો, you will be a happy person, right? But the problem is this. We do what? That's where the problem. So with a great man, you don't do this. You just say, he looked at me. You don't say, he looked 5 times there. You say, he looked at me once. And I tell you, at that moment of when he is sharing that special love with you, you become completely, truly fulfilled. Bas. If we can do that, that love which is fulfilled, what happens is our love, normally in our life, is not fulfilling. It is what? I don't know whether you have felt this many times. What happens is, that moment of connection, we feel fulfilled, and the minute the moment goes away, we become empty. Now, this is not true love. You getting the point? The fulfillment must become so, what? Deep, that it is love which is true, lasts. It doesn't empty. It what? It fills. It fulfills. It doesn't empty. It doesn't make you, lesser for what you are. It makes you more, gives you more, fulfills you, enriches you, makes you something better that moment itself. So therefore, I am the person who loves, and the objects of love are innumerable. I must be open to love from everywhere, and I should be able to give love to everyone. If this sort of a thing happens, then it's very nice. I'm reading a lovely book called I Have a Dream by Martin Luther King Jr. It's a very famous speech that he made in the US. He was a civil rights, he fought for the rights of the African Americans. And he talks of 3 types of love. Very interesting. I've just been reading and I said, oh my, it's so related to my topic. He says in Greek philosophy, they describe 3 types of love. One love is called eros. I didn't know these meanings till I read that book. Eros is, let's say, romantic love. Then the second type of love is called philia. Philia, philia. This type of love is a affection of a mutual nature between 2 individuals. Not necessarily a romantic love, but a, let's say, friends, love between friends. And he calls of the third type of love, I don't know how exactly it's pronounced. I will pronounce it the way I read it, because I haven't seen the dictionary yet to find the agape. A-G-A-P-E, whatever that is. If you know the right pronunciation, you can tell me what that is. And he says this is a very different type of love. It's not sentimental in nature. It's not personal in nature. But it is the love of God. It is the love for all. It is a love which expresses as well-being. And naturally, since whatever I read, I always try to find its equivalent in, the Indian scriptures. And I found a very, and this is what, personally, I also believe what I call true love. True love, romantic love has an element. It's not that it's not true love, I'm not saying that. But it doesn't last. That's the problem with this romantic love. બધા અનુભવી લોકો બેઠા જ નહીં હા કે ના doesn't last. Wish it would last, but it doesn't. The romance goes away somewhere, and then it just doesn't, is not there. Then even this personal love, it keeps on changing. One day it is there, one day it is not. સવારથી રાત સુધીમાં બદલાય. Is it true or not? Morning it is there. I'm telling you, many times people say, Swamiji, love is the strongest thing in the world. I said, not at all. It's the most fickle thing in the world. Agreed? I have very little, faith in the typical, normal love of people, because their mind is so fluctuating and their love goes. એક દિવસ કહે, સ્વામીજી, તમારા વગર અમને કેમ ગમશે? અને પછી બીજો દિવસ કે આવી પડ્યા પાછા. I mean, where is that whole thing? What level of that love is that? So you say, આવું જ હોય, બાળકો આવું જ કરે. You just allow it. Okay, બચ્ચા સમજ કે છોડ દિયા. This is the nature. We have no steadiness in our love. Think of all the people you loved as kids. You thought that was the biggest, friendship and અમે એકબીજા વગર રહી નહીં શકીએ. અને God, how much you talk on the phone, my God. Hours together. 24 hours you're on the phone, and then after some time, you don't even know the person exists or not, right or wrong? What happened? Like waves, we came together, and we parted, never to meet again. Yes? It just goes like that. Those feelings don't remain, they're not steady, they're not. It's a little bit more, it's interesting, all these type of loves, that we have, this mutual loves, personal loves, etc. It's interesting. See, supposing I love X person, and then I love Y person more, immediately this love seems to reduce. For what reason? Why should this reduce if this increases? You're understanding? But it's become like that. In our life, we have this thing happening all the time. Respect is also like that, unfortunately. Yes or no? Why should it? See, if I respect so-and-so this much, then if I respect someone more, why should this become less? It should remain here, na? But no, I respect this one more, so this becomes... What is this? Think of all these things that you and I do in our own life, okay? Sit down, the whole idea of these talks is that we go, what? Within and look at ourselves more deeply, okay? And then find out, why am I so fickle in my love? Why am I, the turn of events little bit here and there, aaj hamare samne joyu nahi, I don't. For all the wonderful things a person has done for years and years together, 2 incidents, and I don't love. Are? How kacha is our love? How? Do you understand this? There's no maturity. There's no holding in that. Whereas there is one love which I personally think is my definition of true love. And that is Shreyas. Shreyas is what? The well-being of another. If my heart at all times is filled with this thought of well-being for others, that love doesn't change. The person changes, the relation changes, the way the person is different changes, but my will not change. Have you understood this? Yes? I give a lot of importance to this word Shreyas. Have you heard this before? Shreyas. The well-being, Kalyana. In the 12th chapter of the Bhagwad Gita, in describing the qualities of a bhakta, of a true devotee, Bhagwan Shri Krishna says, Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha. जो सबके हित के लिए हित में रत है, one who is reveling in the well-being of all is called a true devotee whose heart is filled with true love. So at all times, it doesn't matter what the other person does or doesn't do, a few incidents happen here or there, it doesn't matter. I have the well-being of that other person at all times in my heart. What a lovely thing. Try and find something in your life. I don't know what you will find. I found this the best way to keep my love as steady as I can. What? Sarvabhuta hite rata. At all times, if I feel I must have the well-being of the other person in my heart, I must have the well-being of the other person in my heart, then what happens? Irrespective of what the other person is doing, this thought remains strong, and then because love cannot be on command. Sadly, I wish it was. Come on, love. Thou art commanded to, thou shalt love. You can't. From tomorrow, no one will hate anyone. Is it possible? Love thy neighbor. That's why they say love them. That's the most difficult. Anyone but that one. I'm telling you, each one of us has like that. Anyone but that one. I can love everyone but that person. So therefore, love cannot be. So therefore, what can be done is, I can fill my heart with what? This feeling. Shreyas. This is another very, very interesting concept which I personally feel benefits me. See, one is that I have friends in my life. And the other is that I have friendliness in my heart. Understood? One is what? That I have lots of friends in my life, and the other is what? That I have friendliness in my heart. Which is better? If I have friendliness in my heart, then if 20 people come in my life, then I have 20 friends. 20 people go away, still what happens? So 2 more people came, I have. Have you understood? But if I only have friends in my life, what will happen? And friendliness only for those friends, those 20 have gone and I become. Have you got it? This is I found it very interesting. When I understood this, I said, look, see, a lot of the things in my life, and I'm sure in your life you do, is to keep yourself safe and happy. Agreed? So I decided to do a few things in my life so that I become what? Safe and happy. As far as love, as far as everything else is concerned. Why? Because I want to protect whom? Myself. I want to be happy. But that's all. So I said, okay, fine, enough of having friends. Best to have what? Enough of having people you, what? Loved ones. Best to have what? Love. Got it? So if I have love, you come, I love you. You go, I still have love. I don't become empty. I don't become dependent on you. I don't become. This is one thing I learned from my Guru. Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda, wherever he went, he used to fill that whole place with love. I have seen those fantastic feelings of people just when he's there. He's very, very presence and being. People who used to hate each other will start smiling, saying, Hari Om, Hari Om. And you look here, Abe, because Gurudev is there, everyone's heart is full of love. I know. And it so happened, he used to come to the ashram when I was doing my course. I was studying the Vedanta course. And at that time, when he would come into the ashram, the whole place was like full, as of joy, and it was like an utsava. And when he went, I used to feel completely empty. As though someone has taken something and gone away. And I would feel so, I said, look, I have come to this ashram not to become empty. I have come here to become full and complete. If my Guru can do this, wherever he goes, fills the whole world with love and joy, that's what I have to do. You understand? Not that I now become dependent on him and he becomes, like I leave X, Y, Z and now I hang on to. I just change the person, and I do the same old thing. It's useless. Have you understood? And then these simple principles, just looking at these great Mahatmas, you learn all these wonderful lessons that it's best to what? Fill your heart with love. Now, our topic for this session is going to be Navvida Bhakti. Are you aware of that? Yeah? Now, I will tell you. In our culture, the number 9 is very important. 9 is considered a full number. Those who learn numerology, they also, why is 9 a full number? Because 9 multiplied by 2 is equal to 18, 1 plus 8, 9. 9 3s are 27, 2 plus 7. Keep doing that. My mathematics is not very good. I'll stop very soon. 36, 3 plus 6, 45, 4 plus 5, 63, 72, 81 and all that. Right? I've exhausted my calculation power. Anyway. So all the time you come back to what? And even in numerology they say, what is your birth sign and birth number. That's how they calculate, by adding up to 9. And then you divide the entire number by 9. 9 is a full number. It has got a lot of meaning in numerology. Besides that, it's a full number, complete number. Now, love is like that. Love by itself is full and complete. It doesn't need anything else. Love by itself is what? Full and complete. It doesn't need something to fulfill it. Okay? See, knowledge is not complete by itself. For example, if you don't have love, you will not get knowledge. Agreed? Bolo. You only get knowledge of a subject you love. Right or wrong? That's the one you will pursue, that's the one you will be after, that's the one you will master. If there is no love, knowledge is not possible. But if there is love, everything else is possible. Agreed? So love by itself is fulfilling. It's complete. It doesn't need anything else. And love is expressed in 9 different ways. Now this is another big problem all of us must be careful about. See, love expresses variously. Unfortunately in our life, again, we want love to be expressed in a particular way from a particular person at a particular time. Yes or no? And if it doesn't happen like that, you say, you don't love me. Agreed? Common conversations between husband and wife. Very, very typical. Why you did not do? If you loved me, you would have done that. You did not do this, so you understand. So love expresses variously, and there are 9 ways which are categorized over here in which true love expresses. There is a very, very famous shloka in the Bhagavatam where Prahlad, this most beautiful child, whose heart is filled with love for God, his father asked him, what did you learn in school? And what does he say? Shravanam kirtanam Vishnu, smaranam padasevanam, archanam vandanam dasyam, sakhyam atmanivedanam. Father says, what? Son says, I'll repeat it for you. Shravanam kirtanam Vishnu, smaranam padasevanam, archanam vandanam dasyam, sakhyam atmanivedanam. He says, whose name did you take? Vishnu. Who is Vishnu? He is Bhagwan. Who is Bhagwan? He is your master. And with each answer, you know what happened to Hiranyakashipu? His blood pressure kept going sky high. He says, what? I am the master of the world. There is no God. I am God. And this is what I sent you to school to learn. I sent you to learn about computers, about mathematics. And you are learning what? This love for God? Say it once more. Shravanam kirtanam Vishnu, smaranam padasevanam, archanam vandanam dasyam, sakhyam atmanivedanam. I'm saying it again and again so that you will remember. There's 9 forms of love, how it expresses in our life. It's very, very beautiful. Today I will just little, and then we will elaborate on these 9 forms of love. You can call them 9 attitudes to love. 9 expressions of love, or 9 ways to love God, or 9 ways to reach God, or 9 ways to fulfill yourself in life. Whatever way you want to take it. Now what are they? First is what? Shravanam. Shravanam, simple meaning, listening. Listening means you do it from your what? Ears. Ears. Ears represent jnanendriyas, the sense organs of perception. So all the input that you get through this, through what? The sense organs of perception. Shravanam. Listening, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching. All these are sense organs of perception. So through them, what should you do? Vishnoho Shravanam. The word Vishnu must come with all the words. Vishnoho Shravanam. Listening to the greatness and the glories of Vishnu. I'm just giving little meaning. We'll be elaborating, so don't worry. Shravanam. Next is what? Kirtanam. What is Kirtanam? Singing the glories. Now, how do you sing the glories? Through your speech. Speech is an organ of action. So, through all the organs of actions, to what? Sing the glories or to express the glories of God. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnoho. Smaranam. Smaranam means what? Remembering. Now, all of us have 4 antakarana. For those of you who have studied Vedanta, antakarana chatushtaya. The mind can be divided into 4 different types or aspects depending on the function it has. And what are they? Mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. What are the 4? Mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. What is mana? That aspect of the mind which has emotions. Okay, simple understanding. That aspect of the mind which fluctuates and doubts and should I, not should I should, no, maybe not, maybe yes. This aspect of the mind. That is called what? Manaha. Buddhi is what? Nishchayatmika. I decide, I know, I will do, like that. This aspect is called what? Buddhi. Deciding factor, understanding factor, judging factor, analyzing factor. This is called what? Buddhi. Right now, what is functioning in you? Arey kaink to bolo. Swamiji, neither. We are in the chitta. We are remembering home. Chitta means memory. Okay? Remembering. Memory. So, Shravanam is what? The sense organs of perception. Then, Kirtanam is the sense organs of action. Then, Smaranam is what? Memory. Okay. It's not mana buddhi, but it is what? Memory aspect of it. And the 4th one was what? Ahankara. Now, in Vedanta, ahankara does not mean pride. Okay? Ahankara does not mean pride. There's another word for pride called garva or abhimana. Okay? Ahankara means the notion of doership. I am speaking. You are listening. You are sitting. I hope you are listening. Yes? If you said yes, then you have ahankara. Swamiji, no, you have. No, bilkul not. Who is saying I'm nothing? That one is called ahankara. You understood? That entity which is saying yes, no, I'm sitting, I'm standing, I'm laughing, I'm talking, that entity is called what? Ahankara. And all of us have ahankara. Everyone may not have pride, but all of us without exception have what? Ahankara. Okay? Notion of doership. Aham karoti iti ahankara. I am doing. The action of listening, sleeping, talking, walking, etc., etc. So ahankara. Mana buddhi chitta ahankara. So smaranam is the action of what? Chitta. It's not mana buddhi or ahankara, it is what? Chitta. Okay. So shravanam, kirtanam, then smaranam, and pada sevanam. What is pada sevanam? Serving the feet. Literal meaning. Service. In humility. Serving in humility. Now serving in humility will be what? From the body. Is it true or not? Pada sevanam. Archanam, worshipping. Again with the body. Archanam, vandanam, namaskara. Namaskara, how do you do? With what? The body. Of course, the mind is involved, all that's there, but mainly what? The body. So, which are these three with the body? Padasevanam, Archanam, and Vandanam. Then Dasyam. Dasyam is again what? Service. The attitude of Seva. Dasyam. Then Sakhyam. Now in Dasyam, basically, you have to, Sakhyam is all about what? Friendship. So friendship is mana. Yes. Dasyam is where your buddhi is what? You have to serve with what? Yes. And then the last one is called Atmanivedanam. Is what? Surrendering yourself to this. Now what are you supposed to surrender? What is left out? Mana is gone, buddhi is gone, chitta is gone, ahankara. What are you supposed to surrender? Ahankara. So Atmanivedanam. Now this is the way. So with all our senses, you serve, you love God. With your ahankara, with your mana, with your buddhi, everything is filled with love, then that is called Navida Bhakti. What a beautiful thing. Now, what is the difference between Jnana Marga and Bhakti Marga? All of you are quite used to me talking on Jnana Marga. Is it true or not? Every time we talk Vedanta, high philosophy and all of that. Now I'm going to talk what? For the next so many days I'm talking on what? Bhakti. But what to do? Jnana is in my blood. So it will come out from time to time. And I know it's in your blood also. Because you've been coming and listening to me talking on Jnana. Now what is the difference between these two? The Jnana Marga and the Bhakti Marga. In Bhakti Marga, you employ all your senses and your mind and your chitta, etc., etc. And in Bhakti Marga and in Jnana Marga, what do? You withdraw all of them. You understand? Especially for meditation, what do? You withdraw your senses. You withdraw your mind. You withdraw all of that. And in Bhakti, you employ all of them. Look at the difference. In Jnana Marga, you try to connect yourself with the formless, nameless, qualityless, nirgun, nirakar, Paramatma. And in Bhakti Marga, you try to connect yourself with whom? The Lord, with form, with name, with qualities, etc. You see the difference? In Jnana Marga, devotion is a means. And in Bhakti Marga, devotion is both the means and the end. Now, we'll explain this as we go along. What? You love in Jnana Marga, in the path of knowledge, love and devotion is a means to purify the mind. Have you got this? But in the path of devotion, what is the goal? What is the goal? Love. What is the means? Love. Have you understood this point? Now, supposing very, very simple. A girl falls in love with a boy. This is easy to understand. That's why I'm giving these. If I say God and all, you say, I don't know what you're talking. or a boy falls in love with a girl. When he falls in love, then what happens is, oh, she's so nice, etc., etc. So his heart becomes what? Pure in terms of this. Oh, such a wonderful. His mind becomes calm, quiet, filled with all nice emotions, etc., etc. Then he wants to know about her. Is it true or not? Who is she? What is she? Why this, that, and all? She wants to know everything, right? So he loves more and more. And in the end, what happens? Unfortunately, sometimes he loses all the love. Because it's not a, God. But if it is God, what happens? You start with love and end with love. Have you got the point? Knowledge comes by the by. But in Jnana Marga, in the path of knowledge, devotion is a means and knowledge is the goal. Whereas in Bhakti Marga, what is it? Devotion is the means and the goal as well. You start with love and you end with love. And knowledge is by the by. Did you understand this point? No. Which is easy? The path of knowledge or the path of devotion? This is a very common misconception. That the path of devotion is very, what? Easy. No. The means of the path of devotion are very easy, but the path of devotion is very difficult. What? The means, Shravanam, Kirtanam, all these means are very easy, but the path of devotion is very difficult, because in the path of devotion, the first thing you have to sacrifice is the ego. And in the path of knowledge, the last thing you sacrifice is the ego. And tell me what is difficult? Sacrificing the ego is difficult or easy? Bolo, bolo. The most difficult is to sacrifice the ego. And therefore it's not easy. That is why we find it so difficult to love easily. Isn't it true? What comes in the way? It's always the ego that comes in the way, and therefore Atma Nivedanam also comes last. You see that? It doesn't start with Atma Nivedanam. It starts with Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Pada, all of them, and the last was what? Atma Nivedanam. Not easy, not at all easy. Very, very difficult. So we will see how this happens. Okay? We'll talk a little more of Shravanam also, Kirtanam also, everything a little. Let's take the name of God and then let's end with the arati. Tabla and someone can come. Please come up.